Welcome back, students, on this continuing lecture on enforceable by law. We'll just take a short recap of what we've done till now. We started with offer or proposal. We said when offer is accepted, we started with an offer. We said when offer is accepted, it becomes a promise. And when a promise has consideration, that is, a promise or a set of promises form consideration for each other, it becomes a agreement. So you have an offer, you have acceptance, you have promise, and finally these make agreement. Now these four things want one more thing to make a contract. For an agreement to become contract, we said we need enforceability by law. When we have these five things, you get a contract. And we have already studied intention to create legal relationship. We have done lawful consideration and lawful object. We've also covered capacity to contract. Now in this segment, we'll cover free consent. So let's start with the topic free consent. Before getting into the details of the topic, let us first understand what is free consent, why is it required, and what is its importance, how does it affect a contract. Now, if I tell you give me your flat or transfer the transfer your flat in my name, you'll obviously say you won't because I'm not paying you anything. What if I say this thing at a gunpoint? I threaten you that if you do not transfer your flat to me, I'll kill you. And what you do? Out of the fear of your life, you transfer it in my name. Do you think this agreement would be valid? Or I propose to sell you my bike, but you accept the offer assuming it to be a car. Do you think that offer would be valid? Or possibly I have a pen which is locally made and I sell it to you. I propose to sell it to you saying that this is an imported pen, this is made in Japan. You buy it assuming it to be made in Japan. Do you think that contract would be valid? We'll get answers to these questions in our following segment. So let's understand what is free consent. To understand this topic, it is important that we understand what is consent and then we'll go to what is free consent. Consent, as we know, means to agree, means to accept. Consent also means to obey or to abide. Consent also means to promise. Now, all these words actually, in essence, take you towards one meaning, which is to agree. When two people agree, they are said to be consenting with each other. When two people agree, they are said to be assenting with each other. It also means giving your assent. So I've given you various words for consent. In short, it means when a person agrees to what the other person is saying, you can say that he has given his consent. Consent also means acknowledging. There are various meanings of this word, but in law, as far as the Contract Act is concerned, we take it as agreement or acceptance only. So when two persons agree with each other, when two persons accept what the other is saying, we can say that those two persons are consenting with each other. They are at an consent with each other. Now, in our normal parlance, consent can be relating to one person only. But in the Contract Act, for consent, two parties are required, two persons are required. Because a contract is always between two persons. So the consent of both the parties is required. If one party is at consent, it is as good as there is no consent. Only when both the parties are consenting with each other, only when both the parties are agreeing with each other on a particular matter, on a particular thing, on some specific term, it is only then that we say that there is consent between them. So now let us understand what is consent in detail.